Hello and welcome once more to the fantastical land of Middle-earth, where we here on the Forge Works continue our walkthrough of Lord of the Rings Online. We will begin today with our elf hunter, Hiraneth. Yes, so for the purposes of this game, the creators made it entirely new. A haven for the elves, only to have it destroyed. Oh well. Just isn't meant to be, I suppose. But here we have Elrond. Skorgrim's forces are upon us, and I fear they make straight for this library. He seeks the relics of Ithilien. Though I do not know what a dwarf could want with them. These relics were once coveted by a gaunt lord of old. I think the fool believes he can become immortal if he acquires them. Yes, looting. An oft-treasured pastime. Your master Telegan wishes to see you before you venture out into the fray. But do hurry. This place is not safe for you. Found me? I was only in the other room. Oh well. Hiraneth, my dear student, I wish I could let you stay safe within these walls, but Elrond tells me that Skorgrim makes straight for this library. You must survive the battle outside, I am afraid. I worry for you. Do it with me one last time, my friend, and show me that you are ready. It will ease my heart. Well, allow me to back up here. That doesn't sound any better. Go outside with Telegan and see what can be done to stop Skorgrim from advancing. The Dour Hands cannot be allowed to take the Gaunt Lord's relics. I have vowed to keep them safe. I will hide the relics. Then I will join Telegan in protecting the library. Be safe, young hunter. So, yes, as Elrond stated, I am playing the Hunter class for this particular character. It's a rather fun, long-ranged class with a lot of damage behind it. Go, Hiraneth. This is where the storm will converge. Ethelben is down below. He will let you through the gate to protect what is left of this refuge. Hey, you got him. And while the hunter is most proficient in long-range combat, they can typically hold their own in melee. Although, because they're medium armor, they don't do quite as well. They are one of the few classes that gets to dual-wield, however, which is rather unique. Although you can't do anything silly like 2 spears. Trust me, I tried. I believe spears are relegated to the main hand. But something you won't see on this character anytime soon is the trap system, where they can set up ambushes and do quite a good job at crowd controlling mobs. Well, the back street's clear. I fear for Athelion. How much more can we withstand? And I fear that Skorgrim has not even shown himself yet. Which means the worst is yet to come. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. Oh, here comes the troll. Stunning work there, buddy. Alright, Elrond's overpowered. Please nerf next patch. Alas, Heroneth, you have lost your beloved master. You may blame me for his death. I could have saved him, but he bade me go to you instead. Talagan was brave to spare your young life. Athelion is ruined now. Talagan was not the only elf to die today. Skorgrim will trouble us no more, and the relics are safely buried. But it was such a needless battle. Athelion will fade.
Refuge of Athelion lies abandoned, a ruined testament to the greed of Skorgrim Dwarf. 600 years after its fall, dwarves inhabit the ancient halls in the mountains, and Elrond of Rivendell, sensing a threat, has sent his sons Elrohir and Elladan along with a company of elves to investigate.
So that cinematic actually answered one of the few questions I had about that, was the timeline of events. So if that was 600 years before the dwarves inhabited the halls here, that'd put it at most 1,000 years before any of the main books take place. Although I'm not sure when the dwarves started inhabiting these halls. At least 600 years before The Hobbit takes place, anyway. But that's enough for this character. We now switch to our dwarf. Who is playing as my personal favorite class of this game, the Guardian. So let's go along with Bogorin here. The Guardian, I like to think, is the rightful tank of the game, what with heavy armor, access to heavier shields, and general amount of tankiness with the skills he eventually gets, and all the pretty fantastic feats he's able to pull off. But up until a short while ago, the Guardian did not do enough damage, or did not do much damage at all, really. They kind of sat around, and they wouldn't die, but it'd take forever to get through a fight. Well, recently they actually upped the damage on Guardians, which came as a surprise to me. So now they're fairly viable. Although I'm not sure if they tank as well as Wardens. You there. You're a miner here, are you not? Tell me your name then, my good dwarf. Beorning, a fine name. I am Gandalf, if you do not know me. I am also Gandalf if you do know me. Gandalf the Grey. Now will you humor an old man and walk with me for a spell? I am quite tired and could use the company. He doesn't listen, so I will have to give things a little nudge. You see, we need another party member for the company that departs for the Lonely Mountain. So something you might notice when looking at the NPCs, specifically Dwalin, is that their beards are tucked under their belts and kind of poking out the lower end, which is a detail that you don't really see outside of the books. I thought it was a nice touch that they added that in here. All right, young one, you've dilly-dallied long enough. You ought to get back to work now. Hasn't your foreman given you enough to do? Ah, my equipment, which Consists of a hatchet and a woodkite shield. Quickly now, practice with me before you go into the mine. You never know what evils may appear when the mountains tremble. Oh. They didn't even let me get set and get ready to go. A shaking tunnel is never a good sign, and we could even feel it outside. Quickly, Beorning, you take this passage straight ahead, and I'll go off into the side passage. One of the nice things about playing the Guardian is that it actually rewards you for blocking and parrying attacks. For instance, this skill here, Retaliation, is a parry response. So of course after you parry you can use that skill, and that often leads to other skills. Such as a more powerful attack called To the King that you can get later on. So we do have the clear order to clear out? Good. If I didn't know better, I'd think there was a troll romping around in the mountain. There is one miner left down this way. Let's go fetch him. Twister. Oops. I guess I am. Oh. We must be quick. I don't know how long Gimli can keep that troll busy before the beast overpowers him. Follow me. What? Help? You can break a lock by touching it. Alright. Now that's interesting. I wonder where this place is. How nicely interconnected these stories. So we'll pass by Skogrim's corpse and we'll probably kick ourselves for not mangling it later. Did you hear that, Gorma? I wonder if Beorning has come upon Skorgrim, lying under the collapsed ruins where he was smitten by an elf warrior named Talagan. But that is a matter for years long past. My business is with Thorin today. Gorma may look into the grave of his ancestor while he is steward of this land in Thorin's absence.
75 years after the death of Thorin, his halls in the Blue Mountains have fallen under the rule of the Dwarf clan. Tribute from Thorin's halls has ceased, and King Dain of the Lonely Mountain has dispatched Lord Dwalin and a company of dwarves to uncover the corpse.
Here we are, as Dwalin bid, standing amongst this party of elves who arrived when we did. But now what? Who should we talk to? That fellow over there, the dark-haired one, looks to be the leader of the company. Dwalin sent us to find out why they are here, and if we may be of any assistance to them. You are the more courteous dwarf, Beorning. Go on, speak to that tall fellow. Do you think he speaks the common tongue? I don't know. Let's go find out. Oh, it's you. Hail, friend dwarf. I was not aware that Dwalin, a former guest of my father's, had come hither as well. Perhaps our two quests are not unrelated. I and my brother Elro here have come to investigate a dream my father had. Evil stirs, or it will if we are too late. You have been to this area more recently than we. It has been many long years since these last elves were in Ithilien, their ruined home of old. Perhaps you can help us with your knowledge of these halls. These are the words he imparted to me. Blood-red footsteps upon snow-coloured black, where the Dour King walks to take back his throne and finish what was begun. I am no riddle master, but some of the elves of my company have skill in solving such things. Come, let us speak with the riddle masters Merathin and Dorolas, for Dorolas bade us come here. Hopefully they know where to start looking. I am here to help solve the riddle that is Elrond's dream. Look yonder, Beorning. Thorin's hall belches smoke and soot, and the white snow of the mountain is black ere it touches the floor of the valley. Upon snow-coloured black. What do you think? It is rather literal for a riddle. I was the one who led the party here, for I believe the Dour King is none other than Skorgrim, king of the Dour Hands of old. There is only one problem with my logic. Skorgrim has been dead for many long years. He died here when he tried to raid Ithilien for elven relics that he believed would ensure his immortality. I hope I have not led the party astray, but my heart tells me Skorgrim is part of this story. Dorolas led us here because he believes that Skorgrim is the Dour King in my father's dream. Had I known, I would never have let this party be led here. Skorgrim is dead. My father watched him die. But Merathin believes she has found a piece of the puzzle, the black snow dirtied from the Dour Hand's slovenly stewardship of these halls. I will permit the investigation to continue, but I am very skeptical and disappointed in Dorolas's judgment. Whether Dorolas was right or wrong in leading us here, my heart warns me that danger is near, as is often the case with the wide world of late. Before getting started, everyone should be prepared. You are a guardian, as I can see plainly, but have you mastered your skills? I fear that you will be tested as a warrior in these harsh mountains. You should speak with your trainer to make sure you are ready for what lies ahead. Sure thing. Let's see, what skill do I get this time around? Oh, the shield swipe. Just hitting it with what I already have? Oh, okay. I am here to help you learn how to use skills that will make you a more powerful guardian. As you gain levels, more skills will become available to you. And that just explains the reactive skills that I mentioned earlier. There we go. That'll do me. Good, Bogoran. I think you'll be an excellent guardian someday. You should return now to Eladan. I believe he wishes to begin the investigation. We'll go with a mace for this guy. Learning the ways of a guardian throughout your life is not an easy feat, but it is rewarding. I will give Doralas's theory a chance, since we are here. Merathen is not unconvinced either. We should investigate the ruins of Athelion, the place where Skogrim fell, to ensure that he is still dead. The elves watched him die, so if Skogrim's grave is undisturbed, then the mystery will be even greater. Let's go check it out. I am lucky to be alive after the injuries I bore the day Athelion fell. It is only a shadow of its former glory now. Only pain remains. I was a healer, but my strength and mending was not enough to mend the hurts caused by Skogrim and his Dour Hand warriors. I cannot return here without great sadness in my heart. It was such a needless war. He sought immortality in the relics we kept here, but found only death. Ah, Durango. It was across this bridge that brave Talagan brought the library's walls down upon Skogrim and himself, thus putting an end to Skogrim's lust for immortality. The walls smote them both as they crumbled. But that is a strange flower, one that I have never seen before. Is it familiar to you, Dwarf? You are the dwarf that discovered Skogrim's body some years ago, are you not? It was the ruined cellar of Athelion's library that you came upon, above which Skogrim Dourhand fell to his doom after attacking my fair city. The mine is just down the mountainside from here. You should perhaps continue your search where it started, and see if his body lies preserved there still. For my part, I have no wish to look upon Skogrim again. Right away. This time we'll get to take the back way into Silverdeep. It's a nice little series of staircases. Now, it's nice that the developers paid a little bit of attention to dwarf and hobbit characters. As you might have noticed, Skorgrim's body is gone. Oh. I wonder how that could be. Actually, I wonder if this area back here is still open. Ah, yes, the developers did pay a bit of attention to dwarves and hobbits, especially in regards to the camera, which is in fact lower on the ground, and in regards to swimming, whereas as the sort of the terrain drops below you as you enter into a body of water, hobbits and dwarves start to swim a whole lot sooner than elves and men. Which is a nice little touch. These cave claws are nasty looking critters. Quit moving around now. I'd say the inspiration was moles, but then again, I don't know how much of a trip you'd need to be on to get that out of a mole. I see in the years that have passed the Dwarf intro sequence, they have not uncovered that particular stretch of mine. Unfortunate. I would have liked to see what was going on back there. But we'll head back out of the cave here and see what Eladan thinks of this flower we found. The Gaunt Lord that the game mentions, who previously owned the relics that Skorgrim was trying to capture, I believe was a fellow named Ivar the Bloodhand. And we'll get to see him in this intro sequence. But unfortunately, we will not be able to put an end to him. That will take a little while longer. So if that was Thelian, Wonder what this was supposed to be up here. There's not really any explanation given to it, why there's this great hall, a gazebo, and several pillars. I would have liked to see what these pillars were attached to. You say it grew where Skorgrim died, and where his body lay in death for all these years? Such magic is not common with dwarves. His body has been moved, though we do not know where. It seems that the flowers follow him in death. Perhaps they will lead to his new grave. Do you think these are footprints of blood? Blood-red footsteps upon snow-colored black, where the Dour King walks to take back his throne and finish what has begun. We have black snow, and the body of the Dour King has been moved, leaving the fell flowers as footprints. Something evil is at work here, and I am sure something evil was at work when he sought our relics for immortality. We must follow him again. My brother is scouting for signs of it as well. Seek him as you search. Fair enough. So let's go check on the courtyard. So obviously this game came out a couple of years before War in the North. So it doesn't exhibit the, perhaps the more common rendition of Elladan and Elrohir we got from that game. I wouldn't mind hearing your opinion on which you prefer. And here we have ourselves a red flower. And I do apologize ahead of time. Please do not watch this in a dark room. But the blur will probably catch you. Oh, hush. Those poor-tempered dogs. Well, I'm glad our dwarf here has the time to stop and smell the roses. Gordon, I did not expect to see you here. I asked to speak with the steward, and the Dour Hands directed me here. This was once a great storage house of Thorin's. I don't think I like what the Dour Hands have done with the place. I heard one of the guards here talking. Gormal is the reason we have come, and the leader of this Dour Hand rabble you see all over the place. You are the well-spoken one in our party, Beorning. You might as well go speak with him and find out what he has done here, and why he has grown silent over the years. Sure, but I do not understand why I am the well-spoken one. I am obviously the highest jumper of my species. I think that's one detail the devs decided not to make more realistic. Is that Beorning? It has been long indeed since we last met. I remember you. You were the dwarf that discovered Skorgrim's body the day I discovered the relics he sought. The Longbeards of Dwellin's polity are not welcome here, but you I might allow for your good deed. Do you like what I have done with the place? Welcome to Skorgrim's tomb. I'm afraid you have come here for nothing anyway, Beorning. No one is to gain by admittance to Skorgrim's tomb. It is a sacred ground, and only descendants of Skorgrim, that is the Dour Hands, have leave to enter. You are more than welcome to pay your respects to our fallen king at this shrine, which is just east of here, in the Rockbelly Pit. Skorgrim was a great king, after all, and deserves tribute. Now, I think this is the only time you see this particular model of Dour Hands in the game. This intro sequence here. And I think I know why. It's an interesting warping of the gorget. Well, that's not quite a gorget, is it? Because a gorget would go in front of the mouth. Lord Gormal has told us that you were the one to discover Skorgrim's body the day the Silver Deep mine nearly collapsed. When Gormal took a stewardship, this has earned you a small amount of favor with us, even though your party of Longbeards has come unbidden and unwelcome. We are having a commemoration of Skorgrim's many achievements as King of the Dour Hands, but we need ritual stones, black as pitch. I was not able to find enough for everyone that plans to attend. They are a form of tribute to Skorgrim King. You should make yourself useful and collect some more. They can be found in and around the Winterheight Cave, east of here. Sure. Don't know why I'm the one doing the dirty work, but might as well. It's Quest XP after all. One of the nice little design features the devs added in this game were the glowing crystal lights that the dwarves tend to use. If and when, and hopefully it's a matter of simply when, we get to Moria, you'll get to see a lot more of these, and they kind of expand on the idea. Ah yes, the Guardian Specialization Trees. So I'll go ahead and explain this one, just as I explained the Warden one. It's fairly simple and straightforward. The Defender of the Free, the blue tree here, is fairly simple sword and board, or sword and shield, tanking, and survivability. The Keen Blade here, the middle line, red line, is really just two-handed damage more than anything else. It focuses typically on bleeds. And the Fighter of Shadow, the yellow line here, is interesting. I actually prefer it. It's essentially two-handed tanking that focuses on... Oh, let's see. Is this what I'm thinking of? Yes, it does. Oh, man. So, this is one of my favorite skill synergies in the game. So you will eventually get a mark, particularly this mark. I think it's this one, right? Alright, let me check this here, because I think it's supposed to be this one. Yes, it is Take to Heart. So you mark a single enemy with Take to Heart. And one of these skills here actually modifies Take to Heart. So that whenever you attack an enemy that has Take to Heart on them, they actually take extra damage from your attacks. And I think that's supposed to spread to nearby targets as well. So when you use stuff like War Chant here, which affects basically everyone around you, you essentially deal loads of area of effect damage, and it's more entertaining than it deserves to be. But as of right now, it just gives an extra 5% mischance to whoever you cast it on. Yeah, that's Skogrim all right. Although, this particular edition of Skogrim uses a sword rather than a axe. Not bad for a long beard. Lord Gormur was right. You are not our enemy. Your loyalty to the Dour Hands will not be forgotten, Guardian. So for the purposes of this particular intro, we'll go ahead and switch to a two-handed weapon. So you walked in our shrine, did you? As you can see, the Dour Hands' reverence of our fallen king is very great. The Longbeards and the elves do not understand such loyalty, so this was perhaps a good lesson for you. But do not go away just yet. I'm sure we can think of more tasks to occupy you while you trespass, Bogoran? Would you like to be here to witness the ritual of commemoration of our fallen king? As steward of these halls, I welcome you to celebrate with us. It will not be long now. In fact, I believe the preparations begin tonight. Why does it always have to be the night of? What say you, Bogoran? Think on it. If you will, return to me when you have decided. Just be sure you make the right decision. Run along now, friend. I've no more time for you. It will be a busy day for all my folk. Well, I'll promptly step out before I get drafted into further labor. Looking fairly spiffy here. Nosgrimsong sent me word that you were finding out what you could from the elves that settled up near the ruins. You spoke to Gormur as well, the traitor. Skogrim is not the king of Thorin's Hall. This place belongs to Thorin's line. I have too much on my plate for the nonsense of the Dour Hands and their strange rituals. Look, Bogoran, since you went away, the dwarves of our party fell ill. I cannot do another thing until I figure out what we can do to help them. I don't even know what happened to make them ill. How can I hope to cure them if I don't know how they came by this plague? Those foul Dour Hands have really let this place crumble. Thorin would be livid if he could see it now, full of poison and death. Ah, yes, the little extra never hurts. Before you go, I wanted to make you an offer. You needn't accept this if you want, but what we have learned about the Dour Hands unnerves me. I am concerned that there is a great deal of danger that we face here. We may require an edge to win this victory, and I am willing to offer such an edge if you wish. Very good. Let me get you started. All right. So what is this item this gives us? A battered horn of disruption? Hits 2 targets in a radius of 5 meters, at a max of 5 meters away, and stuns for 4.2 seconds. Interesting. Infinitely usable until level 8. Which doesn't really do me good right now because I'm already level 6 and, well, we're about halfway through this. That's interesting. The others think they are just bleak wild dogs, but I know better. These are no mere dogs, they are barghists. In my travels some years ago, I once happened upon the most forsaken place I have ever seen. Dread filled me, and my voice died. It was all cold. The dogs there were the very same as these, black, mournful beasts with their eyes full of death. Why have they come to replace the lynx and the wild oryx herds that roamed here in Thorin's day? It does not make any sense. They must be driven off. That's fine by me. When he says he's been somewhere that filled him with dread, I do wonder if he means the Barrow Downs? Maybe Fornost? As you can see, we're doing a pretty good bit of damage with the two-handed weapons. Although, that does unfortunately restrict access to our shield-based abilities, such as shield swipe here. Thank you, Beorning. You did a good deed for these lands by driving them back. Perhaps someday the lynx and aurochs will be able to return to these parts. Someday. I wonder why the wretched dog settled here to begin with. Ooh. Were you the one that was dancing around earlier? Oh. That is an interesting haircut. Unsavory fellows, these dour hands. Oh, another one of the areas you don't typically get to see. Pop in here real quick. So this is the Silverdeep Guardhouse with its own music. Completely barren. I wonder if at some point this was going to be used for quest line, but ended up getting cut. Or if it wasn't going to be used at all and was simply some sort of Easter egg. In any case, it does give me the chance to showcase one of the small quality of life improvements this game allows is that chairs and benches are actually chairs and benches. And when you use the sit emote near one, it actually respawns the model and plays an animation where you take a seat in it. Let's see if it's usable for this. No, maybe not usable for this bench. Unfortunately for my sorry mug. Maybe this one. No, this one either. Well, it works on some things, at least. On to investigating the sickness. Well, that's one big pile of crap. These are particularly sick-looking bears, if I do say so myself. Got the rib cage exposed. The face is practically revealing their skull. So when do they stick around? That didn't sound good. It would seem that these dour hands are falling prey to their own carelessness, living in fairly poor conditions, becoming rather surly. The statue of Thorin toppled, and the statue of Skorgrim taking its place. The Dual Hammers limited edition statue. Now, something I believe was made clear in The Lord of the Rings, or at least the Silmarillion, is that the dwarves can't really become evil themselves, but they can fall prey to greed. And I'm still not quite sure where this falls in on that particular line. The soil along the river is foul, you say. So you think that the water that flows from the clean mountain springs is tainted by a putrid rot? And these bears, look, the meat is rotted even though they are fresh killed. This must be what is taking hold of the dwarves in my party. Many of my dwarves stopped at the river to fill their flasks. No wonder they are sick. What can we do? Especially in these parts, something must be causing the water to run foul. Will you explore the source of the river? Perhaps there will be evidence as to what caused the vile plague. Because now we don't even know what's making these poor dwarves sick. If we can make the river run clean again, I have hope for the animals and the snows here as well. Maybe Thorin's Hall won't be lost to sickness. Well, I did say limited edition. Perhaps I meant limited edition large. And these particular dour hands are hostile, unfortunately. Even though they just got finished telling me that I was one of theirs. It's unfortunate. Ah, it's LotRO here. And a lot of dead dour hands. This must be the reason why we don't see this model again, because he kills them all. Sorry about that. The dwarves with Dwalin drank from the river water below, you say? That is ill tidings. The creatures here are transformed by plague and look as if they will die very soon. I came this way to scout for signs of my father's dream, but the grim dwarves here have kept me from getting much farther. Something stirs in that cave. Can you feel it? When poisons seep into the land, oftentimes the land will strive to heal itself, much as our own bodies will fight infection. If you explore inside the mountain, you might find just such an event. I believe that medicinal plants will grow inside, and those will help to cure the dwarves. But the source of the poison itself is yet to be discovered, though I have my suspicions. I feel a powerful chill when I stand near the entrance to the mountain. I will stand guard here while you explore the cave. I am certain when I come back there will just be another whole mountain of bodies right there. You will have walled yourself in on dour hands. Oh, would you look at that? Undead in my mine. And many tendril, three-eyed worms. Pleasant. Hey, you. Nah, I've got nothing there. I was gonna have some set up for a one-liner, but With all the ammunition I have available, I just couldn't bring any to bear. Which would have been great if I were still taking samples from those bears. Oh, and they drop worms, too. Where do you have room for worms, my friend? A question for the ages. We see something a little bit more foul down here. Yeah, not when you fade like that. Come on, play fair. Ever notice that? Whenever you play a game, the undead just don't play fair. They always fade into the shadows or say, haha, I'm undead. You can't actually kill me because I'm already killed. What's that, you ask? Do you get the benefit of immortality? No. Just me. Take that for spite. Ah, there you are. No mountain, I see. You've been sleeping? You have collected pure herbs. Tell me of what you saw in the cave while I mix a salve to help the sick. I saw a scale helmet. Do you smell the clear sap? It is the blood of the mountain, striving to cleanse itself of corruption. Take this phial, Beorning. I have drained enough sap to save those dwarves. If we can rally them in time, our two parties should be able to rid Ered Luin of the horrible fate that awaits it. I will not stand idly by while these fair, clean lands are poisoned with death. Go well, my friend. Hopefully I will see you again when we meet to put a stop to this madness. Madness. I might have also made it this is Sparta reference, but yeah, I know, it's a groaner. But I don't have my stomp skill yet, so it just wouldn't be any good. That said, there is an awfully funny rendition of the This Is Sparta remix with the LotRO feed. Somebody rolled a warden. And of course, if you use the spear shield gambit, it's basically a stomp or a kick. So they made an entire montage and put the music over it. I thought it was quite entertaining when I first found it. I need to find it again, see if it's still on YouTube somehow. By what miracle do you return with a draught to cure my poor dwarves? You are a valuable friend to have, Beorning. Please, don't let me get in your way. Go ahead and give that remedy to the sick dwarves. So we'll get Bogey. Salur? Interesting name for a dwarf. Olin. And Matthew. We'll be seeing him a lot more. Now that there is hope for the sick among my company, we can deal with the more pressing matter at hand. What is this nonsense about Gorma wishing to raise Skorgrim from the dead? You can't bring someone back. It sounds like Gorma has gotten some bad ideas in his head, and Eredluin has become corrupted in his hands. We'll take it back, Bogoran. We cannot allow the Dour Hands to resurrect their king with such foul sorcery. They have poisoned the mountains and soiled the lands of Thorin. Gorma's fall to corruption is unforgivable. Come, let us journey to the tomb. The sons of Elrond are waiting. We will make a great stand against the Dour Hands, and they will think twice before falling to greed again. Okay, so they do fall to greed. If it's greed of bringing back their master, I wonder. So before... of course, in the previous episode, there was a bedroll, and a quest to sleep in said bedroll. And we shall lie down in the bed that we've not made for ourselves. Enjoy. The box just reached the height needed to see into it. Can I get an elven box? That sounds a most curious dream. I never have dreams like that. I would not wish to have such. I don't blame you, man. So that quest was put into the introduction areas shortly after Western Rohan came out. And it seems to me it's mostly a please continue to play our game because the fair lady saw you in her mirror. Not a bad incentive, but I don't know, after every character gets seen in Galadriel's mirror, I have to wonder. Yeah. The tomb's entrance lies in a deep crag east of here. Yeah, I've been there. I don't know what to expect once... Thank you. I don't know what to expect once we get inside, so stay on your guard and be ready for anything. Are you ready to travel to the tomb? Sure, let's go. Can you sense it, Beorning? There's evil. The last time I felt something like this was when I was crossing through Mirkwood all those years ago. We'll need to keep our wits sharp in here. Elrohir and the others are here to help, but we shouldn't delay too long, or we may miss our chance to stop whatever evil is happening here. We must go now. Are you ready? I fear what Gormr has done. We may be too late, but Ivar is too powerful for us to storm the tomb directly. He will stop if we try. We will need to find another way around. Eladan and Elrohir will go see if they can find an alternate path. We will head up these stairs and see if we can sneak around the side. Let's hurry. What do you know? Ivar the Bloodhand has returned himself to revive Skogrum. We have made a significant blow to the Dower Hands, even if we could not stop the ritual from taking place. Skogrim will have to be dealt with another day. Quickly now, we must flee. Whatever Ivar has done, the place is coming down around us. Not bad. Took out 2 as well. Well, leave it to the elves to slack out on all the work. Poor guy. You're not getting out, buddy. Oh. Neither am I if this keeps up. Even though we did not stop the Dowerhands' plans, we have done well this day, Bogoran. At the end of the day, Thorin's Hall shall be free of the Dowerhands, and all will know they are dwarves of no account. I wonder, though... Nosgrim Song, good to see you. When will we see the effects of this day, the return of Skogrim? I will be glad to have you in Thorin's Hall, as one of my good and sturdy dwarves. Now, let us leave these halls behind us. Are you ready to leave these halls, my friend? I, for one, will be glad to put them behind me. And that is the end of the Dwarves and Elves intro sequence. But before we leave, we need to do one more thing. Because I'm not sure when we'll be back on this server, and because I'm not playing a Beorning, ultimately, I ought to show you the intro sequence. I myself have only played it once, and it would be good, for me at least, to remind myself what happens. So let's continue with Ravi. The Beorning, as I recall, is really a rather jack-of-all-trades character. You build up rage points or wrath points with your melee skills, and that allows you to transform into a bear for a certain period of time. For those of you that have played the Warlock in World of Warcraft, it might be likened to the demon form that you can trade into and take. How many afternoons have we spent this way, Ravi? Once the work is done and our chores finished, it seems every day sees us staring out at the pond of Grimbeorn, our elder, thinking airy thoughts. Sturkist sighs, as he often does on such afternoons, and scratches idly on his arm. You are my sister, Ravi, and we keep no secrets from each other. Is this all we have a right to expect? The blood of the skin changer flows within us, and must move us to greater deeds than this. I have only seen Radagast once or twice, and that was when we were very young. Do you remember? We were very small then, and he was kind to us. But I do not think he enjoyed leaving his home in Mirkwood. Something serious must have happened to draw him here, my sister. I will sniff around the lodge and see if I can overhear any of his conversation with our sire. And you should talk with Varthmath at the animal pens. Our cousin talks little, but he hears much. He might know something. So this setting is, of course, the refuge that Thorin's company hides in when they lodge with Beorn during the events of The Hobbit. You tell Varthmath that Radagast the Wizard has left Mirkwood and is speaking with Grimbeorn, and that you hoped he might have heard why. Varthmath responds with a brusque snort. I know what brings him here, his own business. If it becomes a concern of ours, Grimbeorn will let us know. Until that time, you should mind your own manners. Even better, you should make yourself useful to me. One of our milk cows has wandered from the pen. Find her before she gets outside the surrounding wall and tell her to return. Welcome to LotRO, where we find cows. Don't worry, it gets worse. I've been to the Shire. Ah, that meddling, meandering milk cow. You approach the milk cow, and she lows nervously. Something has caused her distress. What could it be? When you were young, you developed the ability to understand many of the animal languages, a gift of your ancestor Beorn. You bet. You call upon this natural facility to speak gentle reassurances to the milk cow. Before long, her calm nature returns, and she begins to move slowly back to her pen. Has it come to this, Rovi? Do you serve those lazier than you, fetching lost cows and running errands? Afolmoth laughs harshly. You are of Beorn's line, as am I. But I have not forgotten what that means. To you it means little. We should live our lives with ferocity, seizing each moment with tooth and claw. No one is my master. I fear you have grown soft, Rovi. Only by harnessing your wrath in battle can you truly live up to your heritage. Prepare yourself for battle and test your skills against me. Okay. The legacy of Beorn is rare and dwindling. We must use it to be the strongest of his children and grandchildren. As we do battle, the wrath of fills our hearts and drives us with great ferocity. Empowering the skills we use in combat, let our foes beware. They tangle with the line of Beorn at their peril. Rawr. Hit at their peak. Remove the buzzing nuisance. Perhaps the most interesting thing about the Beorning is that it is not considered overpowered or particularly strong, unlike the other post-launch classes such as the Warden and the Rudenkeeper. This is despite the fact that it can not only deal damage, use two-handed weapons, but also use ranged weapons, I think bows only. But it can do a fair bit of healing, and some off-tanking. So it does a little bit of everything, much like a captain, but I think it suffers the same problem as a captain, in that it just doesn't do enough. You tell Langhart that Radagast the wizard has paid visit to Grimbeorn, and that Offalmoth set you fighting the sickle flies for practice. Your sister smirks and adopts a gruff, snarly voice. Fight, roar, battle, growl! The line of Beorn is the finest of all, she booms in a passable impression of Offalmoth. So, goblins attack the Beornings. This is a lovely environment, though. Oh! Seems our brother here found some. You quickly tell Staircase about the goblins that attacked you in Langhar. That is very peculiar, Robbie. Beorn put the fear of our kind in the goblins when he stalked these vales, and we have done our part to maintain their terror of us, have we not? What could make them think to stray once again to this side of the river? Yeah. Yes, young one, I've made my decision. You will leave this sheltered land and bring a message of warning where the wizard believes it must go. I long thought our folk could remain separate from the other peoples, as my father wished, but these are no longer those days. Perhaps I will send others in the days ahead, but for now you will represent the line of Beorn in the wider world. Act with strength and clarity of purpose, Rovi, and let all those who see you say, "There goes a woman of Beorn's line. Cross her at your peril." I do not believe in long farewells, young one. Learn your task from the wizard, say goodbye to your siblings, and bring no disfavor upon our line. Afraid that Grim Beorn would not see the urgency of this matter, but reason has won out. I have always had a way with bears and beasts, and, well, you see, never mind. Not important. A dark power is rising, Rovi. I cannot put a name to it, if it indeed it has a name. But something has unsettled the natural world. I will seek the greatest of the 5 wizards, for he has made a study of many things unknown to me, and may know what is happening. I want you to seek out someone else. He is a ranger, and his name is Aragorn. He has been enmeshed in the affairs of wizards for some time now, and if the rumblings I sense are a real danger, as I fear, I know that Aragorn must take especial care not to fall prey to them. The last I heard, he was traveling through the Breland, beyond the mountains. Sturkest growls at you in the language of bear kind, but the words you speak are filled with affection. He bristles and finally relents. Let's see, pal. Perhaps I am as much a wizard as Radagast himself. Langhar laughs cheerily. No, that is not what I want. I want to explore the lands beyond our home, Rovi, as much as you are about to do. I want to seek adventure. I will follow you sooner rather than late, Rovi, I assure you. Until we meet again, sister, find this ranger, deliver Radagast's message, and do not have your fill of adventure before Sturkest and I can join you. It is a long way to Eriador, and you will have need of some supplies if you are to have success. Speak to Grim Beorn, and he should give you all you will need. Well, thank you. You have prepared for the journey, and now it is time to leave the land of your home in search of the Ranger Aragorn. And so the Beorning quest line meshes up with the men's quest line, beginning with Archit and running through Breland. As soon as we load in here. And so we arrive at Archit. I must say, you are a tall one. From where have you come, and what are you called? Rovi? That is quite an unusual name. What business brings you to Archit? We have our own share of troubles, and little need for outsiders to bring theirs. You tell the woman that you have travelled from afar seeking the Ranger Aragorn. She thinks for a moment, then shakes her head. He was here, it is true, but he is gone. He left just before the Blackwood brigands launched their attack on our town, reducing it to this state. We could have used him in the defense, to speak the truth. We could have used you as well. Had you arrived a little earlier, you look to be a strong one. I do not know where the ranger is gone now, but John Brackenbrook might know. He has assumed command of the rebuilding process, which has taken 11 years. And now that his father has perished, you will find him in front of the wreckage of the tavern, I imagine. I saw him there earlier. And so this picks up directly where, of course, the men leave off. Which, unfortunately, is where I must leave you for now. So, I and Ravi do bid you adieu, and thank you for coming to the Forge Works. Hopefully we may see you again. Take care.